The Sinister Six represents a lot of potential conflicts in Spider-Man's life. They're the ones that cause all the trauma for Peter Parker. If that team is now in the MCU, then Spider-Man is in danger. This theory is dedicated to an idea sparked by the Homecoming film. Stark's tower being moved out of New York left a big hole at the center of town. With the fallout of Far From Home, it's possible a new villain in his group lay on the horizon. The Avengers here with a couple theories tying into a Norman Osborne-led Sinister Six and what it'd mean for the MCU going forward. We're doing our best to connect a lot of dots that aren't totally present here. There's no light bulb going off in every fan's head pointing to this being a total certainty. It's just a feeling that everyone is running with right now. A lot of people blame Sony's Amazing Spider-Man films for inspiring us with this idea. It's true, ever since they teased the group in their post-credits scene, this conclusion has felt like a possibility. It's something we don't necessarily need, but fans of the web-slinger certainly want it to happen. A team up with this group marks a big change in MCU plotlines. To make it even bigger, we've got one key figure as central to a lot of these theories. We believe Norman Osborn is finally at large. Spoiler ahead, so proceed with caution. The wrap-up of Far From Home saw a huge dynamic change in Peter Parker's life. It's that mid-credit scene that will directly impact his future as part of the Avengers. You can't just drop the Sinister Six on us without a bigger name in the group. We believe the big-name leader will be the Green Goblin. The big reason for this is the other potential storylines he sets up with his appearance. Let's face it, the writers over at Marvel love to switch things up on us. Just look at the Skrulls and that curveball. It's believable that they used the Sinister Six as a setup for something else. We're gonna get into Norman Osborn and the Sinister Six, but the lead on this can't be buried by all the other background theory stuff. It's possible a bigger team up is on the horizon. Fans of the comic books will recognize this name instantly. For many viewers, the connection of Phase 3's beginning working to the Dark Avengers makes total sense. They're the group that replaces the original team at one point. The only difference is they're all evil. It's simply a front. After Civil War, both S.H.I.E.L.D. and its programs were all but wiped off the map. Far From Home clearly showed that Fury is back in action. It's the same way to start Sword and Armor in the comics, but why not Hammer? If we get two of the offshoots, it makes sense that Norman Osborn would help with the third. The team is compiled of reformed supervillains who actually aren't that reformed. Osborn parades around as the Iron Patriot, in a stand-in for the now absent Captain America and Iron Man. The actual team consists of a lot of characters that we don't expect to make appearances in the MCU version. They changed the original lineup for the films, so odds are they changed this lineup too. The Dark Avengers are tied to the aftermath of the Secret Invasion storyline, so the odds are we need another large event to push Osborn's plan. Expect this team, if they're gonna show up, to assemble by the end of Phase 5. Yeah, that's a long way off. There's a lot of work to be done if it's gonna be the case. It's better to talk about one of the more concrete teams that the potential of Norman Osborn's presence signifies. The Sinister Six represents a lot of potential conflicts in Spider-Man's life. They're the ones who cause all the trauma in Peter Parker's life. If that team is now in the MCU, then Spider-Man is in danger. The fact that we've seen Vulture, Shocker, and Scorpion in Homecoming cleared the way for this to happen. You don't need Far From Home to tell you that the Sinister Six are coming. Mysterio is just another piece of the puzzle. The glue is Osborn, and knowing he's out there gives even more cause for distress. The Sinister Six is one of the biggest threats to Spider-Man. If Peter is going to have a big arc into adulthood, then he's going to need to get past this band of rogues first. Spider-Man is only going to get more and more challenges as he grows older. This team is the first real challenge. It also represents a potential first in Marvel. Sure, fans saw Hydra and a few other factions attempt to destroy the planet, but not a band of villains on par with the Avengers. This is a scale of antagonism never before seen in the MCU. The odds are stacked against Parker, and with that, let's get into the details of each potential member. Let's take the easy one first, Vulture. Vulture isn't keen on being kind to Spider-Man. The man is doing hard jail time away from his family because of Peter Parker, and he won't forget that. Now, Homecoming did show him protect Peter just a bit, but that doesn't mean Spider-Man's off the hook. It just means he's not going to spoil his identity. Yet. And in that same film, we saw early versions of Shocker and Scorpion. Neither one appears completely connected to their weaponry yet, so it'll take some time for them to get better acquainted with the gear. Hopefully the 5-year jump we made was time enough. If not, expect them to carry the back of the pack. Mysterio offers an extra bit of strategy to the team. We clearly know that he's capable of many plots and tricks. As best we know, he's definitely part of the group, regardless of what happened in Far From Home. However, every group needs a leader. The members are clearly different from most versions, and the change at the helm is no different. But don't worry, it's about to be all about the man with the biggest ego in the group now. Norman Osborne and his company are in the shadows of everything we see in the first 3 phases. It's a matter of time before audiences begin to see his public face. After all, none of this works without Oscorp. It appeared clear from Homecoming that someone else bought the Avengers Tower for a specific purpose. Tony wasn't just selling it to get rid of the memories, he needed a buyer. The MCU wasn't going to let that detail go away into the abyss. So Osborn is the perfect buyer for that tower. Think about it. He's going to make an impression on all the people and show himself off as the new all-American hero. Of course, everyone knows there's more to him than his company and his image. He's also the Green Goblin. He's the ultimate Spider-Man bad guy, and the writers at Marvel are clearly not wasting his presence early. We're finally getting a slow burn reveal of this dastardly villain. Norman Osborn becoming a player in both the Sinister Six and in New York means a lot more for Marvel. There's a ton of theories that branch into his involvement, so let's get into that a bit more. It's the elephant in the room, so it's about time we address it. There's a character missing from our Sinister Six lineup we theorized, and it's the one and only Doc Ock. Perhaps he's not going to show up as the leader of the Sinister Six. Things that happen in the comic books don't always happen in the films. There are exceptions to every expectation. It's possible that the writers are saving him for a different purpose too. After all, if Green Goblin is the big name in the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, then Doc Ock is second behind him. Indeed, Dr. Octavius is a serious bad guy in the world of the Web Slinger. He's the leader of the Sinister Six usually, and that might not change. Perhaps Osborn is creating the team, but he's letting his 8-armed comrade run it. He can keep face while wreaking havoc, and on top of that, the MCU writers get a way to build some hype for this team later down the line. The clamor for the Sinister Six will die down at some point, but revealing Doc Ock as the frontman is a great way to get people to reinvest. We're all sitting around there wondering the same thing. What is that new Avengers film gonna be focused on? Thanos is gone. Surely they'll need another villain early in Phase 4. It makes sense that the new team pops up then to take on a big bad evil guy. Spider-Man is gonna need a lot of help to defeat the Sinister Six. That help could come in a lot of ways, but getting a new Avengers team makes a lot of sense. It'd be the first time since Endgame that we see Peter Parker take that role on with full gusto. In fact, he'd probably be the leader and not just another member of the team if that's the case. The film would end with the new team defeating the Sinister Six and saving New York. It's a way to establish a new group here in the next couple of phases while building Osborn into the bigger villain we believe he could be later. They wouldn't leave Osborn for a teaser. They know fans know who he is, so they'd wait to debut him and the Sinister Six for this Avengers film. There are a ton of ways the Avengers film can connect to Far From Home. Spider-Man is a part of the team now. His arc and his life are going to be impacted by his work as an Avenger. Surely that'll bleed into the plot of this film. This is the strongest connection, but other possibilities are out there too. Fans of Homecoming know that Miles Morales exists in this universe. The Donald Glover cameo all but confirmed it for viewers. With that in mind, it's possible that Tom Holland might exit the MCU quicker than we think. It feels totally unlikely, but hear us out. Into the Spider-Verse introduced tons of people to the cinematic version of Miles Morales. If he were to become Spider-Man, it'd need to be at the end of Peter Parker's life. That's a lot of planning required for that to work properly, right? Seriously, it's a big order. We're talking the end of Spider-Man. And the one to bring that outcome would have to be Norman Osborn. If the Green Goblin is in existence, then Peter Parker may not last much longer. Obviously, time is relative in the world of Marvel, but it'd be within these next 3 phases. It would be plenty of time for him to live his life as a superhero and make a big impact on the world, but a conclusion like that would take a lot of guts. Still, the elements to make it work are all out on the table, just waiting for the right moment. Well, that wraps this video up. Hopefully the full picture of Norman Osborn hitting the big screen is coming into view. Do you think there's more to be mentioned? Let us know down in the comments section. And like always, subscribe and like this video so you can keep up to date with all the new videos from The Binger. Thanks for watching.